welcome back. This is Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. Allan Lengel. Welcome back, Allan Lengel.
Thank you. Welcome
Happy
back.
holidays.
Thanks, man.
What is a holiday?
Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. It's I think the year is 5785.
Yeah, you were born then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Attorney Vanessa Moss, candidate for 36th District Court. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good morning. Good morning to everyone that is watching Detroit in Black and White. Good morning, Duela. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, D. Holly. Good morning,
and we here at McShane's, and you know, everybody, we're surrounded by pink. What's that all about?
So, if you're watching, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. This month is Cancer Wellness Month.
Okay.
And so there's something going on over here at the ballpark, the corner ballpark, where there's also an event that I talked about last night that I'm involved in. Is Pink with a Splash of Blue is a fundraiser for cancer wellness, for breast cancer as well as prostate cancer. It's at NSYNC, $35 at the door tonight at 7:00. Come on out. It's partying with a purpose.
Well, it's all kind of cancers, whether it's prostate,
Yeah, we're gonna have somebody on next week.
yeah, prostate, breast cancer, colon cancer,
Lung
pancreatic
cancer.
cancer. Cancer is a cancer. Donald Trump is a cancer.
He's occupying the space in your head as
Yeah,
well, huh?
I don't have a space in
I
my
think he's occupying
But
space in a lot of people's heads.
But anyway, let's go to outrage of the week. Ladies first.
Okay, so I read this story about thousands in limbo as Michigan's largest housing voucher program remains paused. Homelessness is real. Unhoused is real. We have a very large unhoused population. People call it Section 8, right? So it's been on pause for over a year.
In Detroit or in the country?
Michigan. In Michigan. And so they say that 8,500 people remain on the wait list for a voucher. And the problem is that the federal money coming into the program from Congress isn't keeping up with the rising rents. So the rents are rising, but the money that's coming in through Congress isn't matching. And so we have people that's waiting to get these vouchers so that they can get somewhere to live. The reason I brought this up is because you've been on one about the young lady who mother indicated that she was unhoused and she fell asleep in the courtroom. This is an example. Look, these people can't, even if they want to get housing, they're not able to get housing. That's outrageous. Outrageous when we spend so much money on so many things. And I always say that you need to take care of home first before you go and take care of other people.
Okay, no question. Allan Lang.
I talked about Trump. The thing that really drives me crazy is, look, immigration. I mean, there's no question there's a problem with the border. One, Trump sabotaged the bill by Senator Langford from Oklahoma to make sure that the immigration was an issue. But what he's doing now, it's a playbook out of Nazi Germany, blaming the immigrants for everything. You're seeing even his stooge, J.D. Vance, was going on about how our immigrants are driving up the cost of housing and stuff like that, of rents and all that kind of stuff. I mean, first of all, there are so many complicated issues with, first of all, in 2008, the economy collapsed because of the housing industry, because they were giving out loans that people weren't paying back, and it finally collapsed. In 2008, a lot of the major builders stopped building homes because they went bankrupt, because no one was buying homes. And so now what you have, I mean, they're finally easing the mortgage rates, but when you have high mortgage rates, people don't buy homes. And then people rent more, rents go up. There's so many complicated things. And then even FEMA which is trying to address the craziness of the Hurricane Helene down south, is it had to put up a page to dispel rumors because Donald Trump and other people were saying there's no money out there for rescue because all that money is going to immigrants. It's really a playbook out of when Hitler was blaming the Jews for high unemployment, for things like that, for hoarding money, all that kind of stuff. And we're seeing it here, and people are buying into it. And it's really, it's just a campaign of disinformation. And it's not only that, but it's that my parents are immigrants. It came to this country legally. It stirs up hatred against immigrants. Who do you think, and then the Cato Institute, which is a conservative institute, said J.D. Vance is right. There are, prices of housing and stuff are going up because of immigrants. They're saying immigrants are doing construction work and they're having to get housed. I mean, you have so many jobs in this country that immigrants are fulfilling that a lot of people don't want to take.
But here's the deal, though. We're in the season of campaigning. People, they call it politicking, but it's politricking. People are both sides tell non-truth. So to expect for someone to stand there and tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, I think is a reach.
Man.
I do think that people take that's from his perspective, and I think it is incumbent upon us to figure out who these people are, what they're really talking about, what is the truth, and then you go ahead and then you
here's cats are cool. Says the immigrants are illegal aliens. They should go back. It's like this country
go back to where?
Create the housing crisis, but that doesn't matter. I mean, that's the problem, is that immigrants, there are people who have come in this country illegally.
Where people say that they need to go back. I just look at people like Ted Cruz and Mark Rubio and Ron DeSantis, where we all came over here. They first generation, they was born here, but their parents was born someplace else, and they don't want nobody to come over here. Mark Rubio hate the Cubans that come over here, saying, "Oh, they Castro people." All this other stuff, and you know what?
But let me say this: self-hatred is real. You have people in our community that don't like themselves. Self-hatred is real.
Well, but
self-hatred is real.
But the bottom line is, here we are. We got an election. Harris, Trump, whoever's going to prevail on November 5th, is their life going to change?
No.
Allan?
That's the thing. If our life doesn't change, does that mean that other people's are not? Should we not be concerned about other people? And I think some people's lives are going to change. I mean, look at Metro Detroit, Dearborn, particularly Hamtramck. I mean, we have a lot of immigrants in this community. Banglatown, the Bangladeshis created
the mayor of Hamtramck, who they cried when they saying, "Oh, we've been the victim of racial hate," but yet this, you know what? Trump called Yemen a shithole country, and here this guy that's from Yemen set up there with Trump, and this is a guy that like Hamas. He's saying that they some freedom fighters and shit, and here he is over in Hamtramck talking smack. Now, but yet, if you saying, well, you can't slaughter some whatever they slaughtered in the backyard,
goats.
Listen, your question to us was, and I think the audience is listening as well, is will my life change? My life, no. But I'm always concerned about, because I believe that we were not created to be on this earth just for ourselves. We're supposed to serve others. So I'm concerned about the lives of my sons,
right,
their peers, my grandsons, and so on and so forth. So their life is going to change. When you're talking about taxes, when you talk about inflation, when you're talking about this narrative of, you want to talk about controlling a woman's body, those things would change for those.
But Trump say he can't control his wife's body.
Well, let me
Terry said,
Terry McKinnon's the last comment. I'm curious what he
said.
Says, I refuse to believe black men won't do construction work. I'm so tired of this narrative that these folks from Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua are doing the work that Americans won't do.
That's not true. It's opportunities and stuff. Listen, black folks, as I was growing up, we used to cut the grass and did all the yard work, etc. It's like I'm a compare it to boxing. At one time, it was the Irish that controlled the boxing, and then there was black folks, and then you have folks that move up the ranks. Mexicans come here, they take all the shitty jobs and shit because, people want to pay them under the table and not pay them whatever. Now, we done been there. Black folks done been there where we had to clean people's houses and do all the other dirty shit. People moving on up the food chain.
But there's dignity. There was dignity in doing that kind of work. But
it wasn't no dignity.
Listen, it was dignity.
No, it wasn't. If you had to clean somebody's house, and then you had to go clean. Yes, you did. Well, then you had to come and clean your own house.
No, you did not.
You weren't born when you had to see these people standing on the corner.
You can't tell me my narrative. My grandmother used to go and do what they call day work.
Right.
That's what they called it.
Right.
My grandfather worked in the factory. And guess what?
Are you going to do day work?
They raised their family.
Are you going to do it? You will right now?
If I had to, I would.
Put on that white uniform?
If I had to, I would.
I have to put on that white uniform.
But anyway, people make choices. And this is what I want to say to
Ain't no choices for some of these people. No, it ain't.
You may not like the options. You may not like the options.
Ain't no options.
You may not like the options, but you have options.
No
what
options.
I'm saying to Terry is this. He said, black men, the narrative is that people don't want to do construction work.
That's not true. That's not true.
I mean, you'll find people do it, but it's not everybody wants. Not everybody wants to do, be a house cleaner in the hotels.
Right.
Those
are jobs that are part of our industry, the service industry, and a lot of times, as you say,
we don't want to hear all that shit. We don't want to hear about how black folks got to do this or Jews do that or whatever. No, because he's talking about black folks don't want that. Black men don't want to. They want to do construction work only, and they saying that we only need South Americans and all this other stuff. No, he can't come on the show. He can't come on.
You know what? I have an interesting story.
Well, he can't come on.
Yes, he can.
When you talk about immigrants, I had a friend who worked in Seattle, in Washington, state of Washington, in the forestry service, and these companies would contract with Warehouse or whatever to cut down trees. They had little, villages where they had immigrants who were staying there, and they would pay them at the end of their, 3-month tour. But what they would do is, right before their 3-month tour was done, they'd call ICE, immigration, and they would get deported without paying any of them. So there's a lot of exploitation.
Well, that sounds like when you used to work at the Chrysler and you supposed to get your 90 days and they lay you off on the 89th day.
Right.
So they don't have to have you. But we're going to take a break.
Did they get paid though?
No, they didn't get paid.
They didn't get paid for the 89 days that they worked.
But they don't have a permanent job.
But that's different than what he said.
We need to take your law license. We need to take her law license from her.
Listen to what he said.
Listen, we're going to take a break. And we're going to come back. This is Detroit in Black and White. We'll come back after this message.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Moss. I have over 4,000 signatures that say I should sit on the bench in 36th District Court. But the bureaucrats had me kicked off the ballot because they don't want you to elect someone who stands for fair and equal justice. And as a defense attorney, I've experienced injustice firsthand. Join the movement. Write in Vanessa Moss. Write in Vanessa Moss for 36th District Court. Remember, Vanessa Moss.
This is Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. I want to share a story about who, more than anyone, taught me the importance of listening and accountability. It was President Barack Obama. I served in the White House on his national security staff. I got to see him in action, up close, and behind closed doors in the Oval Office. First, he was brilliant, and therefore demanded people really knew their stuff. It was President Obama who grilled me on issues and demanded accountability on what we said and did. That commitment to accountability is exactly the approach I use today, listening to our communities. It's why I've written an opportunity agenda with detailed plans to strengthen Black businesses, increase Black wealth, and provide real opportunities for our youth. Because, as President Obama taught me, you better say what you mean and mean what you say. So that's why I approve this message.
All right, we are back here.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a guest today. She is a candidate for Wayne County Probate Court. She is a friend of mine. She's a colleague of mine. She has been stomping Wayne County. Her name is Macie Gaines. Good morning, Macie. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Detroit Black and White. So, you're here. Tell us about your campaign.
All right. So we have 2 vacancies. We have 2 judges who are aging out this year. We have 4 candidates. We have 3 men and myself running. I've been practicing probate my whole career. I've been the only candidate who's currently or supported and endorsed by the current sitting probate judges. And it's just a very critical time, I guess, for all elections and all races right now, but probate in particular, because it does require a varying degree of experience to really be able to practice it, but let alone be a judge on that bench.
Let me ask you if you could tell us a little bit about your background, where you went to school and what you've been practicing, and also after that, if you could tell the people out there what a probate judge does really.
Okay, so I actually went to U of D Law. Is it frozen by any chance?
No, it's frozen.
Okay, let me see. I
Well,
apologize.
we can hear you though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the audio is still working. Go ahead.
Still working. So you can go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
well, the probate court covers really cases that protect vulnerable people, guardianships, conservatorships, minor guardianships, developmentally disabled individuals, and the mental health docket. It also deals with transferring property after one passes away. I went to Detroit Mercy Law, went to undergrad at the University of Arizona. I actually then became a probate litigation professor at Detroit Mercy Law as well. And that's pretty much my background. I've practiced probate. I've served at the pleasure of every sitting judge as their guardian ad litem, neutral. And I've been in private practice for about, I think, probably 7 years. I initially worked with the Honorable Adam Shakur, and he's the one who taught me everything about probate before I pretty much branched out on my own.
That was my guy.
Right. Amazing.
Yes.
Can you tell our viewers, because some of our viewers are not aware of what's going on in Wayne County Probate Court, your opinion as to the impact of, most of the courts we're in person, and Wayne County Probate Court is it in person or not? And the other thing is, you know, in the state of Michigan, sometimes the Wayne County Probate Court juvenile intersects with it, or the family court intersects with it. So can you tell our viewers about that? I know, but I want you to be able to educate the viewers since you are the candidate for Wayne County Probate Court.
Right. And what makes it really unique with probate is there's two seats that are designated as juvenile judges. And what they do is when there is the neglect and abuse docket with CPS cases and so on, sometimes the children need guardians. They need someone to stand in the place of their parents while their parents do, you know, I guess they have to complete a treatment plan. And with that treatment plan, while they're working on it, there are loved ones who can step in, serve as guardians, and keep the children's lives as consistent as possible while their parents are working on these plans. So I think that is one area that makes probate unique, is that we have a bench in the probate court in the KMAC building. And then we also have two judges in juvenile at the juvenile detention or Lincoln Hall of Justice. But with regard to probate, it's really frustrating right now because the probate court is not open. It hasn't opened since since COVID. And it's really eliminating a huge group of people who need access to that court. In order to file something right now, you have to get the documents on your own online, and then you have to email them. Once you email them, you have to pay for the filings online. And one of the biggest issues, I believe, is that there are a lot of people who don't use computers, and there are a lot of people who do not trust putting their personal information into the computer, let alone using the computer to pay for or enter their credit card numbers for a court filing. I know my mom alone doesn't have a computer, nor does she really need one with what she does. And if she needed to file something, she would have to call me. She'd have to call me. I would have to do it. But I've also met people on the campaign trail. I met a woman who paid $40 to get a ride to FedEx, money to use their computer and email a filing, and then $40 to get a ride back home just to file the filing, only to find out that she never knew if it was processed or not because they replied to the email that she used at FedEx and it wasn't hers because she doesn't have it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So it's really frustrating right now, and it's not efficient. And it really delays justice with regard to anything probate right now.
And Macie, would you agree that when you're talking about people that are the most vulnerable population, you talk about the elderly, you're talking about people who may suffer from mental health issues. First of all, we have a digital divide here, especially in the city of Detroit. Well, there's a digital divide, but you don't get the real picture of what is actually going on in people's lives if you're looking at them on a video. Somebody could be threatening from the sidelines or telling them what to say. I just think it's ridiculous that people are really complaining about the fact that it's like you said, some of these people do not trust, we're going to do this virtually. Well, don't you agree that there should be in person?
Oh, yes. I think that there are some hearings that are very conveniently done on Zoom, but a majority, there has to be some type of hybrid structure or some type of middle ground agreement on how this can function. Because again, imagine not having a lawyer, being on a Zoom hearing with lawyers against you, and having to argue your case on Zoom. I mean, and it's so easy to cut someone off on Zoom or mute them or not give them the platform they need to present what they need to say, versus being in front of a judge and really getting their message out.
Well, you know what? Listen, COVID is over with, and
No, it's not.
Listen, it's
not over with.
Well, it is over with.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It is. We not isolated anymore.
Well, that's the
listen, they need to bring it back. No, because you come with that BS. Yes, it is. It is BS. It is BS. COVID is over with.
Well,
It's over with.
well, I'd say it's
It's
like
over
the
with.
flu. It's like
Right. It's over with.
it's become like a mainstream.
It is over with.
But anyways, let us.
Because you saying that means it's over with.
If you
Listen, the bottom line is I want to ask the candidate a question. See, y'all talk all that other bullshit.
All right, she's back.
Yeah, I'm back on. Oh, imagine if I was on Zoom. Imagine if I was doing a
That's
Zoom
some real
hearing,
stuff.
frozen.
Listen, juvenile is part of probate. Am I correct?
Correct.
You know what? I've been reading up on this case where the little young girl killed her sister. The 13-year-old stabbed the 7-year-old to death. I am just shocked at how are we going to treat that? Is she an adult? No, she's not an adult. Should she be locked up forever? What's your take on that?
I think the start will have to be really like her family history, a very in-depth view on what happened there, because this isn't a common story. We don't see 13-year-olds doing that this often. And there is a story behind it. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure that we're starting with family studies and counseling and therapy and everything else to even determine which direction to go. But there's no way that she hasn't went through something in her life or seen something that she shouldn't have had to get to this point. So I know that the court will likely do a lot of studies and background on what happened here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got another guest on, but thanks so much. Good luck. The election is November the 5th.
Yes.
And this is for Wayne County Probate Court, correct?
Probate court, yes. Wayne County
Probate Court. Okay.
Non-incumbent.
What is your party state?
Well, I just thank everyone. I thank you guys for having me today, even with my technical difficulties. I know we were talking about imagine being on Zoom and probate with the frozen screen. You will get rejected.
Listen, right? But we heard you. We heard you loud and clear, and you was very articulate and stuff. So listen, we hope to have you back, and good luck in November.
Thank you. And I just ask that you guys gain with Gaines. For Wayne County Probate Court.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Macie.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
And a real idiot called me a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
Okay, let's bring on the next.
You calling guests?
No,
Names? That's
right.
crazy.
I'm gonna call whatever.
All right.
It
We've got our next guest on.
Right.
Tiny Tim called me a doctor.
Okay. Good morning, Adrienne. We have another
Good morning.
Adrienne Scruggs, who's running for Third Circuit Court.
This court time.
This is, yes.
The Third Circuit Court is Wayne Circuit Court.
Wayne Circuit Court, but it's called Third Circuit Court. So I met Adrienne out here campaigning, and she's doing a wonderful job. I see her out every doggone where. As a matter of fact, it's like she's out working right now. So I invited her on the show because I believe that this is another way, another platform for her to reach people far and wide, because Wayne County is far and wide. So welcome, Adrienne. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning. I am out and about campaigning. I'm a guest speaker at an event this morning, so I'm honored to have that opportunity, but to be able to reach so many people.
What are you talking about?
It's a women's empowerment event, and so you've got to give some encouragement and do some engagement in that capacity. It's a Christian event. It's a Denim and Pearls with New Bethel Christian Baptist Church. And so I'm hoping I can impart some words of encouragement and some words of wisdom, and that I get invited back to a third speaking engagement. So this is a very, very new territory for me, the guest speaker engagement part.
Are you from this area?
I am. I was born and raised in Detroit, lifelong resident, Wayne County. I'm a Renaissance High School graduate, go Phoenix. Went to Tennessee State University and graduated from there. And then I came back home and graduated from Wayne State Law School. But I was born and raised in Southwest Detroit off of Livernois and Warren. Still have family heavily in Detroit and all over Wayne County. but yeah, this is my home county. This is my home area, and
Adrienne,
Detroit is still my home.
what kind of law do you practice?
I am currently a family law referee at the Washtenaw County Trial Court. So my background is the most expansive and diverse than any candidate running for the circuit court judge, because I started off in private practice and I did criminal, civil, family, and probate, and spent a lot of time doing indigent defendant representation down at 36th District Court. And so, that's when we had the House Counsel, and that's before they did the Michigan Indigent Defense community and the organization to really kind of streamline that. But I was there in the trenches early on. And so I did that for several years and realized that it didn't allow me to have balance or service in the capacity that I wanted. So I worked for the circuit court as a judicial attorney. We were still called law clerks back then. And I worked for Judge Prentice Edwards Sr. He was just phenomenal. I loved him as a judge, as a mentor. He was a great example of, appropriate temperament. Just his level of calm was just amazing. And so he modeled for me what I practice now, which are my ABCs. That's that always be calm. And so after working for him, I worked for the Wayne County Friend of the Court for 9.5 years. And I served as a senior staff attorney and special prosecutor. And so now I sit as a family law referee at the Washtenaw County Trial Court.
How many candidates are there in your race, and how many openings, how many candidates are there?
There's one open seat. We had a primary, so it is just now down to myself and my challenger. And we are both going for the open seat. Judge Deborah Thomas is term limited, so she's retiring. And so now we are running for the seat that she's vacating.
What are some of the things that you're talking about when you go out on the campaign stuff?
Well, some of the things.
What do people want to hear? What are people asking you about as a candidate?
Well, some things they ask me about, and I have to kind of redirect. So they ask, what are you going to do for the community? That's the first thing that people always ask me. And I tell them, be fair, because that's what you have to do. That's what you have to prioritize. And then they ask me about, criminal justice issues, sentencing, fairness, and resources, whether or not I'm a proponent or opponent of, alternatives to incarceration. Those are some of the things that they're asking me. But one of the resonating things across the board is people are saying, just listen. Please just listen. Listen to us, see us, and just be fair to us.
When people ask about sentencing, you must have some idea, like we know that some judges are really tough sentencers, some are a little more lenient. When people ask you, well, what kind of sentencer are you going to be? What do you tell them?
I tell them the same thing, fair, because you can't have a cookie cutter approach. And if you are, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is being fair and impartial and judging each case based upon what is presented at that time. I think I'm opposed to the statement of I'm hard on crime or tough on crime, because if you're one way or another, then you're not just being fair, which is what you're responsible for doing, because there are a lot of mitigating factors that may arise in any sentencing decision that you should take account of. And so if you're just trying to use the bench as an opportunity to make a name for yourself, then yeah, you're going to always go ahead and either do one extreme or another. But if you're doing the job the way you're supposed to, and you're honoring your role and responsibility, then you'll be fair and judge and sentence each case according to what is presented to you at that time.
Well, let me ask you a question. Should a 13-year-old be tried as an adult?
Well, I'll say this, as a parent, just the thought of it is abhorrent as a parent, and you would cringe as a jurist and a judicial officer now. And understanding that there are certain facts and circumstances, you have to look at those facts and circumstances and make that decision at that time. It is improper for us to even state, the canons don't even allow us to state how we would make a determination on any issue that would come before the court. And as you well know, that is an issue that will come before the court. So I can't say whether or not I would or would not try a 13-year-old as an adult, because that would be a violation of my ethical role and the violation of the canons.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to continue the conversation.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
This is Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. I want to share a story about who, more than anyone, taught me the importance of listening and accountability. It was President Barack Obama. I served in the White House on his national security staff. I got to see him in action, up close, and behind closed doors in the Oval Office. First, he was brilliant, and therefore demanded people really knew their stuff. It was President Obama who grilled me on issues and demanded accountability on what we said and did. That commitment to accountability is exactly the approach I use today, listening to our communities. It's why I've written an opportunity agenda with detailed plans to strengthen Black businesses, increase Black wealth, and provide real opportunities for our youth. Because, as President Obama taught me, you better say what you mean and mean what you say. So that's why I approved this message.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Moss. I have over 4,000 signatures that say I should sit on the bench in 36th District Court. But the bureaucrats had me kicked off the ballot because they don't want you to elect someone who stands for fair and equal justice. And as a defense attorney, I've experienced injustice firsthand. Join the movement. Write in Vanessa Moss. Write in Vanessa Moss for 36th District Court. Remember, Vanessa Moss.
All right, we are back.
Back, Detroit Black and White. If you're watching, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. If you're watching, like, subscribe, and share. You can catch us on all social media platforms. We're back with candidate Adrienne G. Scruggs. Adrienne, I got to tell you, a friend of mine, she and I were talking because she's helping me in my movement as opposed to your campaign. And she said, guess what? You guys have a relative in common. I always say Detroit is so very small. So we'll talk about it offline. But welcome back. We know that you have to go and be a guest speaker.
All right.
Are there some things that you want the voters to know about Adrienne Scruggs and why people should darken that oval next to Adrienne Scruggs for judge for 36? I'm talking about myself for 3rd Circuit Court.
Well, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to come on your platform and to connect with your listeners. I am the only candidate who has the experience of presiding over county-wide cases. When I've talked about at my speaking engagements on my platform about ensuring justice tempered with mercy is delivered and ensuring that we have equity and fairness, and those are not just promises of what I'm going to do when I get on the bench. Those are the things that I'm doing now. I understand the responsibility of the role, and I'm not swayed by the vanity of the robe, which makes a huge difference in the way that we treat people when they come before the court and the way that we make our decisions. I understand what it means to be fair and impartial and to give decisions that are going to bridge a gap and create bridges versus creating barriers. And so I ask that they vote Scruggs for Judge. They can follow me on Scruggs for Judge on Instagram and Facebook. Go to my website, scruggsforjudge.com. Learn more about me, but I am the best candidate for the Wayne County Circuit Court Judge. I have the experience to match it and the greatest level of diversity to benefit the citizens of Wayne County.
Good luck. Good luck in your race.
God bless you. I don't believe in luck. God bless you, and I will see you out in these here streets.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening or wonderful day. All right. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
I ain't blessing nobody.
Listen, for all those that are watching today, I'm going to ask that you do me a favor. Besides writing my name in for Judge 36th District Court and the non-incumbent section, I want you guys to ignore Adolph today. He has not had enough rest. He's been traveling, and he is tripping. Okay,
Listen, you've been tripping a long time. You know,
I will say,
you know what Shakespeare say? Kill all the lawyers. He said drown them all.
I'll do a little CDC pitch and say that there are COVID shots available, and they're supposed to be aimed at the new strain of COVID that's going on. So it's like a flu right now. And some people are getting it more severe, and particularly if you don't have the shot. I think at least if you have the shot, if you get it, it's a milder case. But
and that is a paid advertisement from Allan Fauci.
So I guess the point that I was trying to make is that no, that is not an accurate statement. It is not over. However,
it's over.
However,
yes, it's over. Call it a day. Never thought it had to end this way. It's over. It's over.
I know a lot of people are getting COVID.
It is over.
However,
it's over.
However,
Vanessa, it's
every
over.
Every other court in the state of Michigan is
over.
We're not wearing masks. We're conducting business. You can go and get, as Allan said,
right.
You can go and get the
right.
vaccination.
Any drugstore, any clinic.
So, I agree that there needs to be some kind of hybrid in the Wayne County Probate Court. It's ridiculous.
Well, they need to come back. They need to come back.
What you mean they need to come back?
They need to go back in.
I think a hybrid. For some hearings you can do.
But
in person,
but we got shit going on over in 36th District where I heard, the young lady killed herself and they wasn't monitoring her in that little holding cell. I heard that there was an attorney there. They left by herself with a client and they didn't check on her for about 15, 20 minutes. If the client was crazy,
you serious?
Yeah, they would have choked her to death or did whatever. You know what? What's going on over in 36th District?
I have no idea. I have
you
no
over
idea.
there?
I'm over there. I know what you're talking about, but I'm over there often, not every day. I'm over there quite often.
That's like a movie. If the guards leave you in a fucking room by yourself, and here come big bad boy, and they standing outside doing nothing.
I will say that I don't know. I know that there's officers, and I know that they have.
Is it police officers or is it $5 an hour officers?
I don't think they pay people $5 an hour anymore.
Well, $10.
I know there is a security company, and I know there are police officers. Now, those people that are there are officers in the courtroom, and I do know that if you have to go back and speak to a client, that somebody is supposed to be back there with you. But clearly, something did not happen over there. What did not happen is they were not watching those people.
And she tried to kill herself the day before.
So they had, maybe there was some miscommunication or anything like this. This is the problem that I have with people, though. When somebody says, listen, this is what's wrong, don't take it personal. Say, okay, let me correct it. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Everything and everyone can stand correction. So clearly, something was not going right that day. Clearly, somebody was not back there watching. If you're saying that you're putting more cameras in the building, that says to me, well, maybe there wasn't a camera in there in the first doggone place. So it's a doggone shame that happened, and then we find out that the day before,
they can lock up a 15-year-old for sleeping.
Oh, he's still on that.
Yeah, I am. But they can't monitor a woman, a 23-year-old woman that's having a mental breakdown that have been arrested for whatever reason, and she tried to kill herself the day before, and they not on top of that. Listen, I don't know what's going on. If I got picked up and arrested, I'd probably be depressed and want to do something to myself, etc. If I'm claustrophobic, all this other little stuff, people, you throw folks in a cell, and you never know what people gonna do. You gotta watch them.
Well, I'm gonna take a comment that one of our viewers said. She said, saying COVID is over, it's like saying that the flu is over. It's not over.
Well, the flu ain't over. The flu is killing people, but
So
not.
anyway, that's her point. See, this is what I mean.
Your COVID is over. It's over. The COVID is over. It's over.
This is an example of what
We
I'm
don't
talking
care
about.
about what attorneys say. We do not care what attorneys say. We don't care. Attorneys have no stay.
All right.
Letters.
You cannot
Oh.
stand corrected.
Alan.
This is Mr. Order.
I got nothing to say. Go ahead and speak.
My
Go ahead
point
and
is,
speak.
this is an example of just because you say something does not mean that it is an attack on you. All I'm saying is use your words correctly. COVID is not over. The threat of dying from it, the pandemic is over, but COVID is not over. That's the point that I was trying to make. Listen, you have to be very direct when you talk. You have
Okay.
to be responsible for what you say.
Listen, we're gonna take a break and come back, and we go continue the conversation.
Hi, I'm Eric
Really like to
Sabree,
talk
your Wayne
about-
County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Moss. I have over 4,000 signatures that say I should sit on the bench in 36th District Court. But the bureaucrats had me kicked off the ballot because they don't want you to elect someone who stands for fair and equal justice. And as a defense attorney, I've experienced injustice firsthand. Join the movement. Write in Vanessa Moss.
Write in Vanessa Moss for 36th District Court. Remember, Vanessa Moss.
All right, we are back.
We're back, Detroit Black and White. If you're watching, like, subscribe, and share. You can find us on all social media platforms. We are on Wednesday evenings from 8:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. and every Saturday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Next week, we're going to have Dr.
Feelgood.
Dr. Cobb,
Dr. J.
Dr. Yvette Cobb is going to be on the show because this is Cancer Health Month. And so we're going to have her on the show next week. But right now, we're going to turn it over to Allan.
As I say, Kamala Harris was up in Flint yesterday. And then also...
Did you drink the water?
Yeah. And then also Magic Johnson was there. And one of the messages Magic Johnson said, excuse me, I know there's other people out here, but he said, we got to get the black men to vote for Kamala. And there seems to be a resistance among, when it comes to blacks, the women are more on board, but some of the black men are more resistant.
Who told you that?
That's what I see in the polls. I see it in polls.
Polls don't vote.
So,
what poll?
I will say,
I can't remember.
I had the experience day before yesterday. And somebody I know, really, really cool. I'll see her later on today.
They love Trump, don't they? Yeah.
Listen,
well, people like,
listen,
people like,
they told me
people
that
like.
it was a man and a woman.
But people like Trump.
And they live in
black
the city
folks
of Detroit, and
black
they
folks
went
like
to
Trump.
the event that he had here, and they said, listen, he's nothing like what you see on television. He's really soft spoken.
He's worse.
I'm just saying, there are people that he is, you know,
Trump. Listen, let them. They can like Trump all they fucking wanna. There's folks that listen. There was Jews that worked with the Nazis. There's black folks that when they picked Emmett Till up and lynched him and shit, they was right there with the lynchers. So there's always that people that's gonna like who they gonna like,
But
and
you
there's
know what?
people that's gonna vote out of Detroit that's gonna vote for Donald Trump. Like, listen, Magic Johnson telling folks, we need to do that. Who cares about what Magic Johnson thinks?
I think
I know I
think-
don't.
so,
I don't care.
that he
Well,
doesn't
that's
have any
you, but
influence.
I
Not
think-
on me.
Do
I
you
think-
think you have influence?
No. No,
Well,
nobody. No,
Okay,
I have no
that doesn't make
influence.
any sense.
I have no influence.
Yes, then. You don't have
Because I like to hear myself talk.
Then stop that. Stop
You're
that.
right.
You
That's
know what
what
I'll
I
say?
like to
When
do.
you talk about your friend saying he's a
No.
nicer person and all that, it's Maya
I said someone
Angelou.
I know.
Yeah,
You didn't say that.
no,
I said,
I'm-
friend, let's be attacked.
Alex,
I said someone I know.
yeah, that's what I said.
Nobody cares what Magic Johnson
Well, let me
says.
say something, if I
Yes,
may.
they do.
No, they don't.
Maya Angelou, who said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe it. And so this guy has, in every which way, 100 different ways.
She's
he's
a
told
real
people
asshole.
who he
He's a
is.
real
But you know
asshole.
what's interesting? Let me just say, I took a Lyft last night there and back round trip, and on the way there, I had a Yemeni Muslim man who lived in Warren, and I said, "Who are you going to vote for?" And he said, "I usually vote, I'm more conservative." And he says, "But I'm not sure yet." And he's saying, "Who should I vote for?" Well, of course, I didn't tell him vote for Trump. But on the way back, I had a Muslim Iraqi guy who said,
But you just get Muslims driving.
"Well, there's a lot of Muslims who drive, in the city
He
here."
wasn't on the show last night.
And so I asked him, I said, and he says he's a citizen, but he's not registered to vote. I said, "Why not?" He said, "I don't know. I just care about really local issues, and I care about the local races, but he's not registered to vote, period." And so I think it's interesting if you get down to the micro of it. There's a lot of people out there. MSNBC was in Saginaw with a bunch of union members, and they asked one of the union members, "What does January 6th mean to you?" And he said, "Well, I know a lot of people were angry and stuff," but he goes, "I'm not really sure what it was about." And so we're dealing with an electorate, that is out there that is, we think we know what people are thinking, but when you start to dig deep,
Do you think that you can bring Magic Johnson and all the Draymond Green and all these basketball players to tell me who to vote for? They making $100 million or whatever. They go to a strip club and throw $50,000 in cash to whatever, and then tell us, well, we need to do this, because their lives are not going to change on November 6th. After the
But
election,
they care about people.
they don't care.
They
about
care.
nobody.
Magic
They
Johnson's
don't
a great.
care about
He's a great guy.
nobody. No, they
So
don't.
let me say this.
No, they don't. They don't care about nobody.
Adolph goes hard. Yeah, he's going hard and he's acting real cool.
You're right, because I'm sitting next to attorneys. They print money up. They print money up. Attorneys, they be doing all kind of shit. But I'm just gonna tell you. I'm gonna just tell you. Listen. The vice president has a problem here in cities like Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, all these, because they raise a lot of money. They got hundreds of $millions of money, and they not spending that money on getting the folks out to vote. You would think that they will have a bigger presence here in the city of Detroit than they don't. I'm gonna just tell you.
Well, I think they can't ignore Hillary Clinton was the worst example of ignoring the city of Detroit. I covered a rally in 2016. She came to Wayne State University. I was thinking, why are you at Wayne State University? Get into the city and talk to people.
Wayne State University is in the city.
It is in the city, but the students, you're talking about students are probably half of them it's a community
it's
college.
just like Harrison. They invite certain people to to these rallies and shit. That listen, you invite people that's gonna vote for you. What about the people that go that's out there that's not voting?
So, but I think the point that you were trying to make is that you brought up Magic Johnson. And the reason they have Magic Johnson there is because they think that his voice matters and that he has some kind of influence. Now, Adolph sits here and says that he don't believe that he has influence.
He don't.
He's a celebrity.
He don't. He don't. He don't.
Listen,
He
every
don't.
one of us has
He don't.
some
My favorite celebrity
Every one
just
of us
died.
have influence.
My favorite celebrity just died. The Vodka Man.
Well, you know what? Look, Magic Johnson.
So
I mean,
he had the power of
Taylor-
influence over you, I'm sure.
He
Look,
did.
Yeah, I'm
Taylor,
sure Tino had a lot of influence over you.
Because when they asked me what vodka I want the one that didn't have,
Is that
didn't,
what's in
that
that
I wanted the Jackson 5 that didn't have the talent. I was Tito.
Why would you say that Tito didn't have
He had no
He
talent.
was a great bluesman. And he,
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
He was blues
was.
because he had no talent. That's
So
what
are you
blues
saying
is about.
bluesmen
you know, let
Yeah,
me
he tripped
let
this
me
morning.
address let me address the issue of celebrity. Is I mean, Magic
Don't
Johnson
matter.
is from Lansing.
It's
He's,
all-
he's
don't
a
matter.
local
Don't
celebrity.
matter.
It does
When
matter.
last time you been back there?
Taylor Swift is gonna.
Who cares?
She's gonna bring. You don't care, but there
No,
are
who cares?
Swiftie. You're not a Swiftie.
Nah, I'm not a
But
Swiftie.
there are. She's getting hundreds of thousands of people to register. She's an influencer.
Okay, okay.
Celebrities are
Okay.
influencers, and
Okay.
Magic Johnson.
Here
is an
I am.
influencer.
And so are you.
Here I am. I got some slappies. I got Allan Lengel. I got
Slappies.
yeah.
How dare you?
You're
How
slappy.
dare you
You're
insult
slappy.
me and call me
Yeah,
names?
I thought that was a compliment. I took it as a
You're
compliment.
slappy. Listen,
I'll say
see,
something
Allan Lengel.
because I'm
You know why he
wrong.
like?
I
You know
can't.
why he like Magic Johnson? Because he wrote the first real in-depth article on Magic Johnson, and he was a high school.
He was a senior in
basketball
high school at Lansing Everett
There
High
he
School.
is.
Adolph started a high school magazine called Champions. I was a senior at Michigan State, and Adolph calls me up and said, I need you to do an article on a guy named Irvin Johnson. They call him Magic, and he's big. I never heard of him, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I went and interviewed
Oh,
him.
so
It
he
was
mad because you put on the ditty. He didn't get the credit for it.
No, I.
He hated them.
and he was the nicest guy, and I think he's remained really a nice person throughout. I mean, he's become very wealthy.
Well, he has. But anyway, this is Detroit in black and white. We haven't had it great. Your guess? What is your guess?
Macie Gaines from Wayne County Probate Court, Adrienne Scruggs from Third Circuit Court. And listen, I'm a guest every week. Vanessa Moss,
We don't care about
District Court, non-incumbent races. We have a hey Deborah G. We have
There's a comment.
yeah, Deborah G. Adolph is the people
Is
that
your grandpa?
oh.
He's always talking about.
I don't have any kids,
Oh, he don't-
so I'm not a grandpa. Unless you know something that I don't know, call me. DNA ancestry.
1-800-LONGO.
I want to thank Jim Nardoni. We don't care about you, Teresa. Go ahead, Sandy.
Listen, Vanessa Moss, 36th District Court, non-incumbent race, write-in and Black of the Oval. Today, we're having an event at Triangle Hardware on Gratiot. Just come on out, get a chance to talk to me, beat me, and maybe become an ambassador for this movement. We will be back on Wednesday at 8:30 to 9 o'clock, and next Saturday from 10 to 11. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Teresa.
We already have thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
We have
Listen,
thanks.
he needs to go get some
Go ahead, Sandy. Now we know. Alan, go ahead, Alan.
That dog go coughing and go to
Go
sleep.
ahead, go
Okay?
ahead,
Get
go
him
ahead,
coughing and
Alan.
go to sleep.
Go ahead.
The Tigers are playing, I think, at 1:10 p.m.
Oh,
today
the
in
Tigers.
Cleveland.
Oh, the
The
Tigers.
Tigers.
And Jim, favorite player, he passed away, Greg Landry. I like Greg Landry.
You know what it
He
is?
was a hell of a quarterback, wasn't he?
Adolph, you know what it is? With all the crazy shit that's happening in this world, it's such a nice moment of distraction to have Tigers.
Well, you know what? Go
It's
get the
bye week.
Tigers.
It's bye week.
It's bye week, but
It's bye week.
you know, we got everything that's going on in the selection.
Oh,
is
the
so
Lions
intense.
don't play.
Not this Sunday.
Oh, he gave that a shot of Tito's, y'all.
We have to find something to do on Sunday.
Don't nobody drink that. Don't nobody drink that. No, I don't.
I drink Trump vodka.
All right. Bye.